The following is a Just Green production.
Hello, everyone. It's the week of January 29th, 2018. My name is Taylor Cooper, and this might be news to you. What up, everybody? Follow us on Twitter at MightBeNews247. That's MightBeNews247. Get at us on iTunes. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Listen, subscribe, share. Tell your friends about it. We're having a good time. Doing big things in Season 3. Happy to be back. As always, say what up to my co-host, Kev. Say what up, co-host, Kev.
What up, guys?
What up, co-host, Danny.
What's up, guys?
You know, we're back. Bigger, better than ever. Last week we did some a science special. It's nice. Focused on some things happening on the space side of things.
Like pooping in space?
Like pooping in space. It's been great, you know. I don't know. We talk about a lot of different things on this show, so I try to kind of, you know, bring everything to the table that I can find that isn't political related. It's tough some weeks.
You know, space poops are not political.
Space poops are very unpolitical.
I got to agree with you on that one.
It's a bipartisan issue. Everybody's got to poop in space no matter what their political affiliation is, you know? That's me. You know what? We all poop, right? Even if we're not in space, we all poop. We're all connected by poop, you know?
My son's been sick a little bit for the past week, and he's had diarrhea. He says, "Daddy, I got pee poops."
Well, it's great because, I mean, I had a great time last week, and when listening back to it, I still learned things. You know, it's great. You know, this isn't a news show, but it might be news to you. You might not know anything about NASA's new compact nuclear reactor, which is planned to be used on a base in Mars, right? You might not know that.
Yeah.
Kev, you didn't know that before.
Didn't know that.
Right? So that's the point. That's what we try to do here. Got some more interesting stuff to talk about this week. Probably going to be a little bit of a short show this week. I'm just tired. But biggest thing right now. Biggest thing. Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
What?
Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
NFC champs, baby.
Champions.
Nothing will bring the city more joy than a championship.
For those of you who don't know us, if you happen to be someone that we don't actually know listening to the show, which would be wonderful, we live just outside of Philadelphia. If you don't know anything about Philadelphia, it is the birthplace of America and also one of the worst cities in America as far as championships in professional sports. So we have never won a Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. We have multiple championships before the Super Bowl age and all this stuff. And, you know, we like to throw that out there for people, but I wasn't born then, so it really doesn't matter. But we've got a Stanley Cup or two, right? Two?
Back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Couple World Series championships.
Last one was 2008.
Yep, which was great.
And one prior to that was 1980.
Right. So, you know, we don't succeed much in Philadelphia. There's dry spells. So this is the biggest thing to happen to this area since 2008. Right?
Right.
Because last week we did the show hours before the NFC Championship game.
And we had no idea how much of a dominance that game was going to be.
We had no idea. And we kind of joked around on the show about we should have just done it, you know, pretending that they won. And honestly, we might as well have.
Yeah.
It was 38-7.
Yep.
Let me just say something, all right? People, we've played two teams in the playoffs, two very good teams this year in the playoffs.
The Atlanta Falcons and then the Vikings.
And the Falcons and the Vikings. And we've been underdogs in both games. We have, these opposing teams have only scored, what?
So
22 points total on us?
The Falcons scored 10.
10.
And the Vikings scored
so
7.
17 points
17
total.
points. Now, the Vikings also had the number one defense in the entire NFL. The number one.
The number one.
And we put up 35 points.
35 points.
Nick Foles, Nicky Six, 35 points.
Now, we're going to be recording next week. We'll be doing it before the Super Bowl. So we're not going to touch on it too much more, but we're going to record again before the Super Bowl. And, I mean, it's just, I'm pumped. I wish it was right now.
How much did you guys lose your mind for that pick six?
Oh, my God.
I ran outside. I had to apologize to my neighbors because I was screaming.
Oh, my God. Jackie was in the bathroom, and I was like, he caught it. Interception. Oh!
So here's what happened.
Because he went across the field, and I'm like, he's not done.
So the Vikings got the ball first. They took it straight downfield and scored a touchdown. And I said, all right, a few other teams have started this way, but then, our defense has made some adjustments. Eagles offense came out, went 3-and-out. And I said, shit, it's going to be a long game.
Yeah.
So I got up from my recliner, walked to my kitchen. I'm making myself a drink. And I'm looking through my little window in the kitchen, and I watched it happen, and I went fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. So here's my next thing.
Yeah.
I'm a very superstitious person.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I put this question out on Facebook. I want to ask you guys. Every Eagles game that I've gotten to watch this year, if I wasn't working, I've sat at home in my recliner, drank my 7-7 out of my nice, big, tall silver cup for the Super Bowl. If they win, I want to be out and enjoy the environment. I want to celebrate, jump up and down, high five, hug, cheer. But at the same time, I don't want to jinx this team.
Okay, I figured this was a juju question because I am the same way. I don't want anyone here.
No.
I don't want to be anywhere else.
Nope.
I'm going to be wearing the exact same thing that I've been wearing every other weekend.
That I have not washed all year. Sorry, guys.
I've washed things, but I do have more than one, I guess, quote unquote lucky thing because I got a Wentz jersey for halfway through the year. Jackie got me a Wentz jersey, and we wore that to the game that we went to this year. But to prepare for that, like we knew we went to the game where they played the Bears. This was a few weeks ago before Carson got hurt, and I hadn't really worn the jersey yet, and the game before that game, I forget who we were playing, but I looked at Jackie. I was like, we got to wear our jerseys to make sure that they work. If we wear our jerseys, then we can't, and they lose, we cannot wear these jerseys to the stadium the following week. Like, we just can't do it. Because is there anything worse than paying a shit ton of money to go to a game, any kind, hockey, basketball,
anything.
Whatever? Is there anything worse than paying money and going there and losing?
No.
That
sucks.
shit sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks.
You leave the game depressed.
You got to sit in traffic depressed. You're surrounded by other depressed people. It is
Your
a
pockets
very
are
bad
empty
thing.
because it's a fucking $15 for a beer.
You've been preparing ever since you bought this ticket to go to this thing.
They played
You've
the
been getting
Cowboys
hyped up.
before the Bears.
Yeah, so we watched wearing our new Carson Wentz jerseys in preparation to go to that Bears game. And they won the Cowboys game, so I was like, all right, well, deal. We can wear these to the game. And we did, and they won again.
But to answer your question, you're a superstitious person, you should watch the game. Because we've already had discussions about this, about you guys going down to the parade and everything. And I'll watch the parade from wherever I'm at because it's going to be all over Facebook.
You're not that big of an Eagles fan.
I'm not that big of an Eagles fan, but you're a superstitious person. I think that you should stay at home and watch the game, and then when, knock on wood, when they win,
You got Finn all excited.
when they win, you go and celebrate at the parade.
That's what I've been thinking I'm gonna do, because everybody's like, oh, we'll just have people over. I haven't had anybody over all year. I haven't even worn my Eagles jerseys while watching the game, because I've been sitting at home in the comfort of my own house, and I can't break that, because God forbid if something happens. And I don't think
How down on yourself are you going to be?
I don't think the Patriots are going to win.
I don't think
In
they
all
are
honesty,
either.
I think this Eagles defense is too dominant to let Tom Brady win this game. And that's what the Giants had when the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They had a dominant defense, they had a great coaching staff, and they had the offensive weapons to make plays on offense and score more points. And that's exactly what the Eagles have right now. So I think that the Eagles will come out with a win. I'm so confident that I actually already put in a vacation day for February 6th to go down to the parade on Broad Street.
That would be fucking awesome.
So,
Dude, that's the city of Philadelphia is going to be nuts.
we deserve this.
Nuts.
We deserve this.
Nuts. I can't wait. I also think that the Eagles are going to win. The New England Patriots have not faced a defense this good all season.
No, and Tom Brady actually just came out and said that
Yeah.
a few minutes ago. He came out and said that this defense is the best defense that we will face all year.
All year.
That front defensive line is the best in the NFL, and it's the best that we will face. And it's going to be hard for them to come up with a game plan around not only the front four, but the front 8 or 9.
I can't name one person on the New England Patriots defense except for James Harrison. I can't name one person.
Will Fletcher Cox decapitate Tom Brady?
No.
No,
No.
because
You
they'll
know
make
who's going to?
Who?
Chris Long.
Chris Long. I'll tell you what. They're going to make new rules after this Super Bowl because we're going to beat them so bad.
Mhm.
They're going to make new. I mean, I'm telling you. They made the tuck rule for Brady. They made this rule. For
What's
Brady.
the tuck rule?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't even know. Something that makes it harder to play defense against Tom Brady. I know that.
So, you know Chris Long came from the Patriots, right?
Okay.
So did LeGarrette
he's,
Blount.
He's Harry Long's son.
Yeah, yeah.
Howie Long, yeah.
Chris Long played for the Rams. He was drafted by the Rams, and he played for them for many years and didn't get anywhere. Last year, he went to the Patriots, won a Super Bowl. The end of the season, he went to Bill Belichick and said, listen, I'm not going to waste your time. You're not going to waste mine. I'm going out in free agency. And he sought out the Eagles.
Really?
He called Connor Barwin and said, tell me what it's like playing for the Eagles. And Connor said, do it. You're not going to regret it. It's one of the best organizations that I've played for. The coaches, the staff, the city is phenomenal. The fans are great. So he actually made the calls himself to come to the Eagles. And he said, I see what you guys have, and I see where you're going, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to help you get there.
No
Free
shit.
agency magnet right now. We've in the past year, and again, we'll touch more on this next week, but we've picked up a number of key free agents that are going to be here for the next couple years.
There's only 2 guys on our roster that aren't under contract next year.
Right. Which
Only
is
2. That's
LeGarrette
it.
Blount and Torrey Smith, right?
I believe there's one other. He wasn't a big name.
But LeGarrette Blount's on a 1-year deal still, and Torrey Smith is also. Because they locked Alshon Jeffrey up.
Yep.
They got Jay Ajayi for another 3 years, I think.
Chris Long, they signed for 2 years.
2 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see Philadelphia as the next powerhouse?
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
With Carson Wentz healthy, and let me just say, if Nick Foles plays half as good as he did last week, we'll win.
He threw up 35 points against the number one defense.
So, but to answer your question, Kev, with a healthy Carson Wentz and this supporting cast that they have right now, I think they'll be in the Super Bowl another 2-3 times in the next 5 years.
How do you have a quarterback like Nick Foles put up 35 points against the number 1 defense, and next week, if he wins the Super Bowl and he dominates and stomps the Patriots, how do you bring Carson Wentz as the number 1 quarterback next year?
Because he's better.
So
he's better.
Nick Foles, the backup quarterback, he had 33 pass attempts. He completed 26 out of 33. 352 yards, 3 touchdowns for a passer rating of 141. They actually sat Nick Foles down and they said, you know that if you go to the Super Bowl and win, when you come back, you're a backup quarterback. And he said,
He knows that.
that's my job.
Yeah,
and
he
I'm
knows.
fine with that. That's why I'm here.
Wow, that's keeping
What
it
was it?
humble.
2 years ago, he was ready to retire.
He was ready to retire.
So, for him to do this is a true testament to his character and his ability as a quarterback. But at the same time, he knows, just like the rest of us do, that Carson Wentz is better than him, younger, and he's a better leader for this team.
Well, and the great thing about it is
He's now the face of the city, basically.
Carson Wentz is right there next to him the entire time.
Yeah.
I was just telling you guys, I've been watching videos of him coming to the NovaCare complex at 5 o'clock in the morning to study film and go over game breakdowns.
Well, and he addressed the media yesterday for
Carson did.
Carson did.
Okay.
For a timetable of his injury
He
and
said
recovery.
yeah.
He's shooting to be back week 1.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Incredible. So I think that as long as he protects himself going forward and takes slightly less chances with his body, out there, I think that we're gonna go to the Super Bowl at least 2-3 more times in the next 5 years.
I mean, we have all the weapons. We have all the coaches now. Because we did so good this year, there is a chance that we are going to lose some of our coaches.
Yeah.
Our defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, he's probably going to be gone next year, unfortunately.
But see, the thing is about that, though, is that a lot of these teams that I know that had these coaching vacancies are already filling them because it's late.
True.
If we would have been eliminated when the Atlanta game, for example, would have happened, chances are Jim Schwartz would have been the coach of the New York Giants next year.
Yeah.
And because we won that game and the week later, because they can interview for these jobs, but they can't accept them or anything else
And they
until
only have-
it's over.
Well, actually, they can only interview the Eagles coaches. They could only interview them after the last game of the season during that bye week between the divisional championship game.
Yeah.
And then they can only interview them the bye week between the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's the only time they can interview the Eagles coaches. But like the Patriots, I think their time is coming to an end, and it's time for somebody else to take the top seed. And in all seriousness, I think it's going to be the Eagles.
You just look at how weak the AFC has become.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been, in my opinion, that the AFC was the offense and the NFC was the defense. Aside from the obvious like steel curtain back in the day and stuff like that. But, you've got, in the NFC, you've got Seattle, Nation of Boom, or whatever their stupid title
Legion.
is. Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom, that's their defense.
Which is over now.
Yeah.
We are next in line in every sense of the word.
Yep.
And it all, to me, comes back to the Browns and the Rams passing up on Carson Wentz. I do not believe that we'd be in this position with Jared Goff. I do not believe that we'd be in this position if Carson Wentz was the quarterback of the Browns. I don't believe that we'd be in this situation. I think that Carson Wentz has come into this city and completely transformed it, not just in a team sense, but in just how good we feel to be Eagles fan sense. He's a good guy. We know he's not going to do some crazy shit that's going to get him suspended or into trouble. We know he's not going to...
He believes in God and hunting.
Well,
That's about it.
Look what he did with the Dutch Destroyer story.
Yeah. Oh, it was a huge thing. And then you got Chris Long donating all of his regular season game checks. You got, we are, this city, this team has hit national news multiple times this year.
Yep.
If Carson Wentz didn't get hurt in that Rams game, there is no doubt in my mind that he would have won the MVP. Because there was no one else even close to him.
Did they announce that yet?
No, they won't until after the Super Bowl.
But, a lot of people are saying if you don't play the whole season...
Which to me is bullshit. I get it, but it's not like he missed half the season.
Well, it's like with Tom Brady.
They couldn't give it to Aaron Rodgers, for example. But see, me personally, I take everything into account. I would have Aaron Rodgers in the conversation this year strictly because you saw how shitty that team was after he got hurt. Sometimes injuries reveal things, such as not necessarily in this situation because Carson Wentz got hurt and we kept winning.
Well, that reveals that we have a coach that deserved to get the coach of the year.
That also reveals that we have an incredible team. I've always said this, and this has always been my argument about greatest of all time as far as Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, whatever. Super Bowl victories are a team accolade. Your team goes to the Super Bowl, and your team plays hard enough to win that game.
That's championships across the board.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Right? But the MVP award is a personal accolade. That is just you based on your performance. And that's why it's so different. I mean, it's just football is the greatest team sport of any sport, in my opinion, because there's so many moving parts. You got these linemen who people don't even know their names most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like offensive linemen. I couldn't name one offensive lineman outside of the Eagles if I tried.
Yeah.
And same goes with a lot of the defensive line. These guys are just huge guys that break through and try and either hold somebody back or get through to get the quarterback. And but everybody matters. You hear people all the time, kickers don't matter. They're not even real football players. How many games come down to 3 points? How many games come down to field goal kicks?
Well, that's what won us.
Right, they're football players.
That's what won us the Giants game. The
Right.
61-yard field goal.
Can you imagine being
Jake
that kid?
Elliott.
Jake Elliott is a kid. He's a kid.
Yeah.
He's a rookie. He
That
just
was
came out.
cut.
That
and
was
on the
cut.
Bengals-Packers squad.
He's a nothing to nobody when we picked him up, and he's got to come out here the first week that he plays for us and kick a 61-yard game-winning field goal. Goddamn right, they're football players. I hate when people say that shit. Oh, kickers and punters. What are you talking about? Donnie Jones is one of the best punters in the game right now.
Yes, he
I mean,
is.
straight up. The guy puts the ball exactly where he wants it every freaking time, just about.
Yep.
And that takes serious skill. I couldn't go out there and punt footballs with people trying to kill me. Couldn't do that.
So we're talking about kickers, right?
Yeah.
So Thursday nights, this is Pro Bowl week. They had the Pro Bowl skills event. Anybody watch that?
No.
No.
So they had a tic-tac-toe contest with the kickers.
Oh, what?
So they put up a whole tic-tac-toe board in the field goal, and they played tic-tac-toe. Could you imagine placing that kick exactly where you want it? Up in the middle, high right, down low left corner.
Yeah.
They fucking nailed it.
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
That's
to see
awesome.
the skill that these kickers have.
Oh, it's crazy. It's really crazy. So, well, that's our football for this week. We're like I said, we're going to talk a lot more about it next week because it's going to be game time.
Oh God,
Game time.
I'm getting chills already. I'm so excited
Dude,
for
you
this.
see me? I already got my commemorative
Yeah.
Super Bowl sweatshirt. Right? You go into Modell's or Dick's who don't pay us, and it's as far as the eye can see.
There's actually a where Vinny's is down on 113 and 100.
Yeah.
So there's a guy that has a tent set up selling Eagles memorabilia.
Oh, really?
I'm stopping there today on the way to the in-laws house.
Shop local.
Oh yeah, it's all legit stuff. So
Yeah. Oh, dude. I like I said, I walked in there, and first of all, it was like the busiest I've seen the store in a long time. I went to Modell's again, who doesn't pay us, right before Christmas, and it was dead.
Yeah.
It was dead in there. And I went there. Me and Jackie went there this week, and it was just it wasn't like crazy busy, but it was definitely noticeable.
There's a buzz in the
There's
air.
definitely a buzz. Oh, this guy, he brought his kids in there. They're all picking through the
Yeah.
sweatshirts, and it's
Yeah.
a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal.
It's bringing a lot of good things to this city, and I'm excited to see what next week happens. What happens next week?
Motherfucking Super Bowl.
I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm ready for the parade on Broad Street. I'm ready to go get wasted and see my Eagles down Broad Street.
It's a-
Not just watching the Super Bowl for the commercials.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll be sitting on my recliner by myself. I have fireworks ready to set off when they win. I got my neighbors on standby so I can go knock on their door so I can get my high fives and my hugs. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
So that's our good news for this week. That we're just gonna do that.
Yeah,
Good
that's it. Good news is
Good news
Eagles
is
are in
the
the Super
Eagles.
Bowl.
Fly Eagles fly. And if you're not an Eagles fan, we don't want you here.
Goodbye. Don't follow us on Twitter.
I got people like I got people at work. One lady, she's a Steelers fan, and a couple other people are different, root for other teams and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, I might have to root for the Eagles. No. You want to talk about juju? No. If you haven't rooted for us one time this year, this is not the time. This is not the time. Don't even watch the game. If you're not interested in it, don't even watch the game. Don't even do it.
So I work in a steel mill.
Record that shit. I don't know what to say.
I work in a steel mill, and it's split. Probably about 60% Eagles fans, 40% Steelers fans.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a few Steelers fans, and I said, I really wish the Steelers made it to the Super Bowl because a Pennsylvania Super Bowl would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you know what they all said to me? We're not glad because I don't want that Eagles first win to come
Against us.
against that.
Right.
Because they all know what's going to happen.
Yeah. We have the best team in football.
Yeah. We've had the best team the entire season.
Point blank.
We've been
blank.
number one all season.
All year.
It's time for us to get what we are owed, and that's a Lombardi Trophy and the fucking parade down Broad Street.
That's it.
Go with the other stuff.
Yep.
I'm done. Time's yours.
So we're gonna break away from football until next week. For now. Well, actually, until what's the point? We have a couple things more to talk about, but we'll break away for a minute.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Got a couple of things to talk about that I saw in the news that popped up this week. On the entertainment side of things, I saw a story. They are developing a Mighty Ducks TV show.
Yo. Oh, that makes me hype.
They're currently writing it, and they're gonna shop it around the networks. Like, there's no stars or anything. There's nothing really to report other than the fact that they are working on it.
Triple Deke, son.
D2.
Knuckle puck.
D2, The Mighty Ducks, is probably in my top 5 favorite sports movies.
I would agree. I like D2 a lot.
I like that better than the other ones.
No, you
I
gotta
do.
go with the original.
No, I like D2. the
original.
most. I like D2.
I love them all. I love them all.
Because in D2, they have those sick-ass uniforms, right? And they go out and just fuck, what is it, Team Iceland or some
Yeah.
shit? Yeah. They
But-
beat the shit out of those dudes.
Real quick, to go back to the Eagles, did you see the Eagles' 1 touchdown celebration when they did the flying V?
No, I didn't.
They
see
did it
that.
across the end zone. They did the flying V.
But they're not sure. There's no word yet on if it's like said as like a total reboot, you know, if they're just going to
That's
reboot
so
the whole
hype.
thing or if they're going to, you know, take place after it. Like maybe it's the original team's kids or something like that. Like there's a number of different things that they could do to really make this good. And I hope they do because I love the Mighty Ducks growing up. What is it? There's 3 of them, right?
3 of them.
I liked all of them. Obviously, the first one was classic.
Instant classic.
Instant
It would get a
classic.
10
It would
on
get
a
a-
review.
Wow, I'll get a 10 from you. Speaking of reviews, we're reviewing the Beatles later.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So awesome. What's the next story? 2 minutes to midnight. So I was trying to explain this to you guys earlier. There's a group of scientists that get together every year and basically decide how close to the end of the world we are. And last year, what this is it's a simulated, they make it into a clock. Okay. Midnight is doomsday. It's the end, midnight. And we've been, 5-10 minutes away from midnight for a while. And then it's started creeping up over the past few years due to global warming, climate change, things like that. They also include possible natural disasters, such as like super volcano eruptions and things like that. So those every year that those things don't happen, obviously we're a year closer to them happening, right? I mean, what is it? Mount St. Helens, it hasn't blown up in a long time, and they say that if it does, when it does, it'll basically create an ice age. So every year that doesn't happen, obviously, it's just more built up pressure.
No, we can sled forever.
But they moved it to. You're an idiot.
Ice
moved
skating
it-
for everybody.
Yeah. They moved it from 2.5 minutes to midnight to 2 minutes to midnight this past week. Reasons for it include things that we've talked about. Who's got a bigger button on Twitter? Nuclear buttons being pressed. There's a lot of things having to do with that that are included in this because, and we aren't the only nation in the world that's having nuclear war issues with like North Korea. Like India and Pakistan have been on the brink of nuclear war for a long time. Obviously, Israel and the whole Middle East is just a crazy, crazy spot in the world. But if anybody triggers a nuclear war anywhere, it's basically the end of everything. I mean,
That's what's so stupid about nuclear war. You're going to threaten nuclear war and drop a nuclear bomb on another country, but you're going to do nothing but harm yourself as well.
yeah,
It's
gonna harm
stupid.
everybody. It is stupid. But there's a lot of people that are stupid that are in charge of entire countries in this world. Everywhere, not just here.
Wow, shots fired.
Let's see.
Cheeks.
So another thing I saw that was really interesting in the news: scientists have discovered a extinct woolly rhino. They discovered it a couple years ago. But they've done more tests on it, and they actually reconstructed it recently and released pictures. I found this very interesting article on National Geographic, so go check it out.
A woolly rhino?
Woolly rhino.
So like a mix between a woolly mammoth and a rhino?
Right. It's like a.
That's a scary motherfucker right there.
It's like a Stone Age type, time period version of the rhino. Kind of like the mammoth is a Stone Age type version of an elephant. This is a animal that was made to live in cold conditions, and the woolly part comes from the fur.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
Whoa!
it's insulated. Just for those, it might be news to you that's what that fucking means. Kev, it might be news to you.
Speaking of rhinos, real quick, it reminds me of I went and saw a movie yesterday with my wife. It was celebrating our anniversary. We went to the movie tavern.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you. We saw Jumanji.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a phenomenal movie.
Was it?
It was awesome.
So,
been doing really
how
well.
about Jack Black's role?
Dude,
I'm telling you, he stole the show. He stole the show.
Yo, watching him trying to show the other chick how to flirt.
How to flirt, yeah.
Yo, that was so funny.
I'm telling you, he stole the show. Everybody's like, oh, how was The Rock and Kevin Hart? Nope, it was Jack Black. He stole the show.
Yo, Kevin Hart was still funny though. The fridge, he was like, "Where's the top 2 feet of my body?" It was so funny.
Well,
but I'm sorry to interrupt
happy
you.
anniversary.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Happy anniversary, Amy.
Amy, I don't know how you do it, but congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
how
guys
she
are
does it either.
assholes.
So they named this rhino Sasha after the hunter that discovered it, but they reconstructed this thing, and they ran tests on it to discover that they estimate that it was only like 7 months old, this rhino, and it was already longer than a normal rhino. So they, guessed that this thing would have grown to have been very big, certainly in comparison to a rhino, which doesn't really surprise me because the mammoth is a lot larger than a normal elephant. So that's pretty crazy. I thought that was really neat. Go check it out on nationalgeographic.com. They got pictures of it. It's pretty wild. It's very ugly, but it's pretty wild. If you want to know what a baby woolly rhino looks like. Another thing I saw, and then we're going to take a break. Scientists have discovered human teeth, fossilized human teeth in Israel, 5,000 years earlier than they initially thought that people were migrating to Israel. So, for those of you who don't know, scientists can generally think that Africa is the cradle of civilization. That's where the earliest human fossils have been found, typically. And from there, from Africa, they migrated north, south, east, and west. They went everywhere they could go. And, some people believe in Pangea, the thought that all of the continents were once one super, continent, or at least some of them, because if you put the pieces of the continents together...
What do you mean some people believe? I mean, it looks like a fucking puzzle to me.
Some people believe the earth is flat, okay? I mean, I'm just saying that some people believe in some things that are absolutely crazy, and some people believe in things that are kind of look pretty obvious to them. And this Pangea thing is kind of obvious to me.
What were you going to say, Dan?
Danny, you don't believe in Pangea?
No, I do.
You do believe in Pangea.
I just believe that the earth is flat.
You're
No, I'm joking.
Oh my god! If you were an actual flat earther,
earther.
I'd have to pause the show, and we'd have to have a serious conversation. But no, there's actually there's people out there that believe a bunch of crazy shit. But scientists thought that humans went up to like Israel at a certain time. I don't know the actual year because time is just a blur of craziness to me. When you start talking about like 50,000 years, I mean, I can't even put that into perspective, right? But they thought they had it narrowed down to when they thought humans made it up that far. And these teeth date back 50,000 years prior to what they thought, which is very interesting to me.
I'm just impressed that the teeth can last that long without flossing and brushing.
Was there a grill with them?
No, but there's not much of anything else with it. It was just like a jaw. They found a jaw.
So there's no like head attached or anything?
At least they haven't found it yet.
Wild.
Pretty interesting stuff.
Wild.
That's what I've got for this week for interesting things. We're going to take a little break, come back with What's the Point and the late review for the Beatles' Abbey Road. Isn't that what we did?
Yes, sir.
Kev's pick this week? We just
Tried to go a little bit
boring.
No. It's one of them. You're gonna call one of the best albums that one of the most influential rock bands of all time.
Yeah.
You're gonna call their album boring.
You
You can't even argue the fact that they're one of the most influential rock bands of all time.
I won't.
Can't even argue it.
I won't argue that.
Okay.
And I agree.
And
with
the Abbey Road is one of their best albums.
that. I won't argue that either.
So you're wrong in your prior statement.
I just think that
Say you're wrong.
It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that this pick came from you
Okay.
because you don't tolerate things.
He said, "Say you're wrong."
I'm not wrong because I never once said that they were bad.
You just said it was boring.
It is a very boring album.
Is it good?
It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Better.
I don't know how you-
It's better than Arctic Monkeys.
I don't know how you like this shit. I don't. Because like Arctic monkeys, they're British, and it sounds like they're whining the whole time. Except the difference is that the Beatles were on LSD.
Exactly.
So none of it makes sense. And I have no idea how you like it. That's all I'm saying. I know you. I've known you for a long time, and I know that your brain moves very fast in a slow way. Right? Your brain moves very fast. It's frantic, and your brain can't keep up with the rest of your body. Well, your body can't keep up with your brain, or something.
You are such a douche.
Basically, I'm trying to say you're an idiot, and I don't know how the fuck you made it through this whole album.
Just admit my pick this week is better than your pick last week.
Yeah, sure. I'll admit that. That's fine. It's fine. The Arctic Monkeys aren't one of the most influential bands ever. I agree. Okay, but I also
pretty much just sucked.
I also just have no idea. Like while I was listening to this album, and we're going to talk more about it in a second, but while I was listening to this album, I was trying to picture Kev listening to this album, and I just couldn't picture it because you're a fucking weirdo. We'll be right back with more Might Be News. Welcome back to Might Be News, Season 3, Episode 3. What up, Kev?
Yo.
What up, Danny?
Hold on, I had coffee in my mouth. Hi.
Welcome back to the show. We had some technical difficulties this morning that have put us a little bit behind time frame-wise. Not necessarily episode length-wise, but just time of day.
You're slacking.
So, my computer had like 80,000 updates all of a sudden this morning that it wanted to do before I could do anything else. This shit was stupid. Took way too long. Okay? So we're just going to go right into what's the point. Kev, what's your point?
So you guys, I asked you guys, you have not heard about Amazon Go.
No.
Well, neither did I prior to last night. I was struggling to find a point. My wife brought it up to me, and I watched a couple videos on it. But Amazon has created this store. It's not an online store. It's a stand-up brick-and-mortar store called Amazon Go. It's a grocery store. It's a smart grocery store that you walk in the...
I have heard of this. Yes. I didn't know that that's what it's called, though. Amazon Go is what it's called?
It's called Amazon Go.
Okay, very cool.
This they've been testing this store with their employees for 4 years, and it's finally up and running. You walk through the doors like what are those gates that spin like when you're going into the
Turnstile.
subway? Turnstile
Yeah.
gates. You scan your cell phone to let them know that you're there. You go in with a bag, you fill the bag, and you leave. There's hundreds and hundreds of cameras in the ceiling and sensors in the ceiling that it knows what you buy, automatically creates a receipt, and you walk out with whatever, and it goes on your Amazon account.
Wow.
What?
Dude, it's awesome. It is awesome. I mean, I actually watched a vlog of a guy that's in Seattle, and he just showed you how it worked, and it's amazing. I mean, there's no lines. You walk in, grab what you need, and you walk out, and they produce a receipt that just shows up on your monthly Amazon bill or whatever. I guess you got to be an Amazon Prime customer, and you walk out. I mean, the time saver that would create is awesome.
Well, Giant sort of has something kind of similar.
Well, you got to scan it and you
You have
put
the
it
gun.
in the bag. Yeah.
So you scan it as you put it in your cart, and then when you're done, you just go up to one of the registers, hand them the gun, and they go, "All right, swipe your card," and you leave.
Yeah.
That quick.
Yeah.
But that's wild.
Yeah.
When you were telling me about this, I thought it was almost going to be like an online store where I can sit there and do all my grocery shopping right on my phone, and then here comes a car with all my groceries.
Yeah. No.
That would be cool.
Well, they have that.
Well, they do. But
Giant has that. It's called Peapod.
yeah, but I'd feel like a freaking waste of life using that.
We have used that.
Have you?
Yeah, it's awesome. It is awesome. Your first delivery with Peapod is actually free, just to try it out. But after that, a delivery, I mean, with your free time and whatever you're doing, like if you're helping somebody, what would you pay yourself an hour? Realistically, what would you pay yourself an hour for your free time?
For my free time?
Yeah.
God, I don't know. I'm not worth that much.
I mean, delivery is $15. If it
Yeah.
takes you an hour and a half to go through the grocery store and get everything you need.
Yeah, I mean that would actually work pretty well because like I was supposed to go grocery shopping today, but Allison has something planned, so after we're done recording, I have to go home right away so she can leave.
Yeah.
So it's been like 3 days now that I've put off grocery shopping for this.
But yeah, Peapod, it works great. You can pick a delivery time when it shows up. It's getting off my point, but to walk into a grocery store and not to have to stand in any lines and you just walk out with whatever you need and it charges right to your account, boom.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I don't know how it works. I don't know how any of it works. Like,
Dude, there's cameras and sensors in the ceiling.
Yeah.
It sees what you take. It rings you up for it. You let them know by
all on
scanning
your phone. Yeah, it's all
scanning
done.
your smartphone when you walk in.
it's absolutely nuts. Like, that's got to be the easiest thing. I mean, you don't have to stand in line. You don't have to.
You can't steal from the place.
Can't steal from them. Right, because they won't let you in without proper
Right.
phone identification, whatever.
Yep.
Huh.
It's interesting. What if you're in there and your battery dies?
Oh no, I don't know.
Well, I mean, once you get
That's
in,
a good
They have like a
question.
charging station in there just in case.
well, once you get in, you're already scanned, so you don't really
Right.
have to keep your phone on
Right.
because you're already in the system.
And then all that's done by the cloud, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Weirdo shit. Danny, what's your point?
So we talked about the Eagles beginning of the show. Vikings came to town, and there was a lot of, I'd say there were a lot of fake stories about Eagles fans, but at the same time, some of these stories were true. Eagles fans, we are very passionate about our sports.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. We haven't had too much to be excited about, so this is exciting to us. These Minnesota Vikings fans come in, they do their fucking dumbass skull chant on the Rocky Steps.
Yeah.
They put
Take a shit on our steps, basically.
yeah, and then they dressed up the Rocky statue in Vikings gear.
Take a shit on our Rocky statue, basically.
So, of course, there were a lot of vulgar things, excuse me, a lot of vulgar things said to these Vikings fans as they're walking into the stadium, as well as there should have been. This is a conference championship game. You're going to have that kind of stuff no matter where you go. But for some reason, everybody focuses in on Philadelphia as being this horrible fan base that causes all these problems, that has horrible fans. I've even seen people on Facebook saying, well, I hate the Patriots, but I'm rooting for the Patriots in a Super Bowl just because of the Eagles fans, which
Yep.
is, it blows my mind.
Blows
Did the
my mind.
Atlantic I'm sorry. Did the Atlanta fans have any problems when they were here?
None.
Did they stand on the art museum steps?
Nope.
Steps? Did they dress up the Rocky statue?
Nope.
They didn't have a problem here because they didn't come into the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, acting like a fool.
Yeah, there were all these reports before the game from Minnesota, and there were commentators saying, when you go to the game, make sure you're not inebriated. Make sure if your team loses, you take off your colors. Like, treating us like we're a gang. When we're not. We're passionate about our sports. If you're going to come and you're going to treat our city like trash, you're probably going to get treated like trash.
Yeah.
We're standing up for our team.
Well, let's be fair. Face facts. If you come to this city and perform like shit, you're going to hear about it.
Of course.
I've been to Eagles games where this team was garbage, and we're booing them. We're not booing the other team. We're booing our own team.
Yeah.
Get better or face fact. You know what I mean? That's it. And now let's also be clear. I've been to a number of Eagles games, and it's a different atmosphere than the Phillies games I've been to. It's a different atmosphere than the Flyers games I've been to.
Well,
or
you
the
also got to
Sixers.
look at it. The Eagles only play 16
games a year. So, it's a different atmosphere all the way around. Tailgating is completely different for going to an Eagles game than any other sport that I've ever been to. Some people treat it as an all-day thing. So, I've seen fans that deserve to get kicked the fuck out of the stadium, and they did.
There's always that one fan that's an asshole.
I went to the game a few years ago. It was Eagles versus Broncos, and it was the first game that Brian Dawkins came into town as a Denver Bronco. And people showed up there in Brian Dawkins Bronco jerseys. Typically, I saw a lot of the orange ones. I just remember that, including this family of 5 in front of us that were all wearing orange Brian Dawkins jerseys. I don't know if they were Eagles fans. I don't know if they were Brian Dawkins fans.
Yeah.
But the point is that these guys in our row were absolutely wasted, and we're just fucking with this family. It's a husband, wife, and 3 little kids.
How old were the kids?
I mean, the youngest one was probably Jackson's age.
That's a shame.
Like, it was bad. Like, 3, 4, something like that in there, ranging from the oldest one was probably 10, 11, And again, all of them wearing Dawkins jerseys, and these guys, they were spilling beer on them. They were like all this shit. And the family got up and left, and the people I was with were yelling at the guys that were doing this shit. And minutes later, the security came and got them, and this family was moved to a box. Like, they got better seats. They got to upgrade this and that, whatever else. So, I mean, point of the story is that we take care of that shit. I mean, half these guys that are out here, yelling "fuck Millie" and that old lady's name.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that shit.
No,
but
not at all.
you know what? Fuck that old lady. She's not in the Super Bowl. Did Roger Goodell give our 99-year-old fan that they had on Fox Super Bowl tickets? I didn't see anything about that.
I didn't see it yet.
So fuck that old lady. I don't know what else to say. I'm not saying go fuck that old lady, but fuck that old lady. She doesn't mean nothing now. Not in the national spotlight or in this sport. I get it. Like, oh man, you're a 99-year-old fan of the Minnesota Vikings. Sorry, go watch the Super Bowl. Your team's not there. She's probably like, oh, fuck me. You know? I don't know. I doubt she can sell those tickets. They probably made it so that if she doesn't go, she's got to give them out or give them away to one of her family members. Who knows?
Yep.
I don't know if Millie's going to be at the Super Bowl. Fuck that lady. I hope she's not at the Super Bowl. Is it right for us to walk down the street chanting that shit? No. But generally, fuck that lady.
So there's been a lot of attention on us
Right?
because of the stuff that happened. A lot of the Vikings fans brought it on themselves, but it's like this anywhere you go.
And worse in places.
Anywhere you go. I've been hearing that Vikings fans are planning on signing up as Uber drivers for the Super Bowl and dropping off Eagles fans in random destinations, not at the sports arena.
Talk about sore fucking losers.
The restaurant owners are not allowing Eagles fans to eat in their restaurants.
Let me tell you something. If a fucking Uber driver on the day of the Super Bowl took me to a different place besides the fucking place that I paid $4,000 to go to, I would beat him up and steal his car.
Yeah.
And go to the Super Bowl. Like, oh, you want to play games?
So I have a stat here.
I'm locking you in your own trunk, and I'm driving myself to the Super Bowl. How's that?
So the Washington Post did a 5-year study on fan arrests at all these different cities. 26 out of the 32 NFL cities did this study with them. So I have here the top arrest for the NFL. San Diego comes in first at 24.6.
This is over a 5-year span.
5-year span.
Right.
New York Giants is second at 22.5. Then you got the Jets, Oakland, Pittsburgh, San Francisco 49ers, Green Bay Packers. The Patriots are on here at 4.7. Dallas, Arizona, and all the way close towards the bottom is your Philadelphia Eagles at 3.2. So let's go number 2, New York Giants, 22.5. Eagles, 3.2.
Yeah.
Who really has the worst fans in the NFL?
Even the Patriots have worse.
Patriots are at 4.7. We're at 3.2.
Let me just say something else about the Patriots. All right, because I've been to Gillette Stadium. Right, I saw Tom Brady play Peyton Manning live. It's like I saw both those guys throw touchdown passes, which is a great thing. Let me tell you something. They do not play in Boston. All right, you watch a Patriots game during the regular season, and you know how they do like the little coming back from a commercial break. They show the city and stuff. They play in Honeybrook.
They don't know what Honeybrook is.
If you don't know what Honeybrook is, it's a nowhere place. It's a place that has like one road that goes through it, and the rest is just like neighborhoods, just and farms and trailer parks and bars, right? That's basically Honeybrook. Am I getting it right?
Yeah.
There's a motorcycle place there too. Whatever. So Gillette Stadium is literally in the middle of a bunch of fucking car garages, basically. Everything I saw there, you can't see Boston from there. I don't even know where Boston is, close to Foxborough. It's stupid. They have no wonder that they have like these fans. They're probably like in the middle of nowhere. They're just like tire salesmen, all day, and they just like I don't know who knows about these people, but point blank, we don't even make the top 10 nationwide over the past 5 years. So eat a dick, America. Straight up,
Big fat one.
Stop talking about it. It's a lazy narrative, and you're trying to take away our Cinderella story, right? We were the Cinderella. Even if we are the best team in the league all year, if you are a football fan, you basically have been going into the past 10 seasons more or less expecting the Patriots to win. That's how it's been, correct?
Yeah.
So now you've got this dominant football team that lost their star players and still coming together to beat these motherfuckers.
How many star players
And they're trying to
did
take
we
this
lose?
shit. They're trying to take the
5?
Cinderella story away from it. Kev, I'm gonna fuck you up. Fuck you up. All right, we're gonna talk more about football next week. My point for this week is that Philadelphia recently announced that it is going to become a safe injection city or whatever. They're making these facilities that people can come in and shoot heroin and be, basically going to make sure that you don't die. They're paying people to go to these places and make sure that these junkies don't kill themselves. Shoot the proper amount of heroin. Okay. They're also providing other things too, like the facilities known as supervised injection sites or safe consumption sites provide clean needles and space for people who inject illicit drugs. If an overdose occurs, trained staff could administer naloxone or whatever the shit.
Narcan.
Yeah, whatever, which reverses the overdose. The facilities also test for HIV, provide wound care, and refer users to substance abuse treatment. Hey, man, what you doing tonight? Oh, man, I'm going to the safe site. We're just getting all shot up and fucking... They don't care there.
It's almost like they're making it
okay
to do. Like,
now, I understand, and I've read reports while researching this that, and again, I'm not a heroin user. I don't know anything about how addictive that shit is. But they said that prison is the worst place you could possibly go through withdrawal, right? Because there's no trained people there to deal with that shit. There's none of that shit. And the reason that I even looked that kind of stuff up is because why isn't there a safe place to smoke crack? Why isn't there a safe place where I can go and smoke weed? You mean to tell me that I can't, it is illegal for me to go anywhere, anytime, and smoke weed, but you are now putting millions of dollars into facilities that let people, and not just let people, but encourage people to come in here and shoot dope? Are you kidding me?
why don't they use that money and make like a rehab facility instead?
Straight up. Why would you even, this is unbelievable. An estimated, no, Philadelphia is the second major city that has done this. Seattle was the first, all right? Philadelphia, though, has an estimated 70,000 heroin users.
70,000?
70,000.
God damn.
How many people are in the city of Philadelphia?
I don't know. But we have
That's
the worst.
astonishing.
We have the worst fatal overdose rate among major cities. Philadelphia. I didn't know that. Might be news to you. 2016, we had 907 overdoses, lethal overdoses.
You're going to have people posted up right outside of the door of the safe spot, skate spot, and having them fucking shooting up or selling heroin to just shoot it.
Well, you're having issues now where ambulances and things are being called to respond to overdoses, which takes them away from people who aren't junkies that need help. You know what I'm saying? And if you're addicted to drugs, seek help. Absolutely. I'm not trying to say junkies as a necessarily derogatory term, but as a junkie that smokes weed every day, I'm offended by this shit. I'm offended by it. Did I talk last week about the synthetic marijuana?
Yes.
Did I talk about that?
Yeah.
The fact that a company has to make that shit for it to be legalized because I can't make it. It's the same thing with heroin, man. I don't know where heroin comes from. I don't know anything about it. I know what it looks like, and I know what it does to people, and it ruins communities, and it ruins entire families. And it comes from, a lot of people get addicted to it based on the fact that they get addicted to things that their doctors prescribe them, painkillers and such.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you can't get a prescription because the guy thinks the doctor thinks that you're abusing it.
So
what do? You go outside, you find, hey man, where can I get this shit or something like it? Next thing you know, you're fucking shooting heroin. I know people who've died from this shit. I know people that have gone and gotten clean. Something happens. I know tons of addicts. I work with tons of addicts. My company hires people from the VA hospital that have had very bad pasts with this shit. So I know people that are on the STEP programs. I know people that are going through this shit and think about it every single day. I mean, I smoked crack one time. And it was...
Sure you want to put that out there.
Listen, man. Hey, I'm being real with you. The reason I don't do it anymore is because of how awesome it was. I wanted to do more of it right then and there. And you know what? The logical part of me is like, well, wait. This is why everybody can't get off of it, because it's great. They make it that way. The heroin, I mean, it gives you a feeling that you're searching for. And maybe you didn't know it was there. But once you feel it, oh, and I can get this for kind of cheap. It's not that expensive. I mean, but now they're trying to basically, hey, man, come on in. Here, pull up a bed right here. Here's a clean needle. I'm going to sit right here and make sure that you're all right. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I'm not saying lock them all up and throw away the key, but this ain't it. This ain't it. How could this be okay? They're saying that it's controversial to a lot of people. Supervised injection facilities, while often controversial from a public point of view, are not controversial from a public health point of view. This is a Jay Unick, a medical something at the University of Maryland. Quote, overdoses are preventable. They're absolutely preventable, which I guess that's the point, which obviously less drug overdoses that lead to death is a good thing. So don't get me wrong. But what do you guys think about this?
I like I said beginning, I think is absolutely bullshit. It's almost glorifying it, saying it's okay to do it. Come here and do it with us. Where, God forbid if you do overdose, we'll save you so you can just keep on fucking doing it and using the tax dollars to pay for this.
Right.
But on the other hand, I don't know from using, but it has always been heard. I've always heard that you're not going to get clean unless you want to. Period.
Right.
You're not going to.
Right.
I mean, somebody takes you to rehab. You're not going to do it unless there's a want by the party that is addicted. So if they're going to do it anyway, would you rather them sitting on the streets when you're walking down the street with your kid and your kid sees someone there dead or shooting dope?
All right. Well,
or would you rather them in a house?
Well,
I would rather them offer them free help.
But they're not going to take the help unless they
don't want to. Right.
They're not going to.
Now check this out. To your point, Kev, I mean, trying to put myself in a parent's perspective, if this was my son or my daughter, that was addicted to heroin and I just found out about it, would I want them to do it with
supervision?
With people with supervision? Sure. I would lean toward yes, sure, because I care about them and I want them to. If they can't get off this, I want them to do it right. Okay, so that's one perspective. Good point, Kev. So, but on the flip side of that, how many times do you take them there before it becomes enabling them? How many times do I drop my son or daughter off at the safe spot before it becomes me enabling them to do heroin?
True.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times? Because if it's just like if somebody comes and asks you for money, you give it to them and you never get it back. Okay, well, what makes you think that I'm going to give it to you next time? I'm enabling you to take money from me, right?
Yeah.
It's the same type shit. And I mean, so I can definitely see, like I said, the benefits. Less overdose deaths is a great thing. That's a great thing. I don't want to see people die from the shit, but God damn it, get them off it. And maybe people going in there, and I don't know if it's just like a wide open room of people just laying in beds getting all crazed up, but I mean, maybe somebody who's just started using goes in there and sees somebody that's been doing it for 30 years and can just visually look at them and see how they've turned out. Maybe it'll change their mind. Maybe they'll say, you know what, I can't be that guy.
Yeah.
I can't be that. And then maybe that causes them to walk up to a nurse and say, hey, do you have one of those pamphlets for one of those places or whatever?
Yeah.
So maybe it will help people. And I'm sure it will help some people. But other people, like you said, Danny's just going to take advantage of it. Oh, man, I can go there. I don't have to worry about anything. They'll bring me back to life if they have to. The only thing they're not doing is supplying them the heroin.
Yeah.
But if you break your arm, they just might supply you something that's like it.
Well, I was going to say, we just had our baby November 20th. they don't even prescribe painkillers after that anymore. Like
Right.
they offered her, what was it? It was Motrin and ibuprofen, and mixing the two gives you the same pain relief as Percocet or OxyContin does.
Yeah.
And they actually, one of the nurses actually wrote us a script for Percocet, and the head nurse flipped the fuck out. They shouldn't be doing that. We don't do that anymore. All because of this opioid epidemic.
It's an epidemic. I mean,
It really is.
It's nationwide. And listen, I'm not trying to downplay it. I just don't feel like this is the way to make it better.
No.
Right? You guys agree?
100%.
And again, if you are somebody or know somebody who is addicted to these kind of drugs, do your best to get yourself some help or get them some help. But just don't. I don't know. Don't look at this like the new best thing, because I just don't see it that way.
No.
I think it's
not.
crazy. That's my point. Late review. Beatles.
Abbey Road. Yep.
Kev's. You know what? You're going to go last because you liked it. Danny, what did you think?
I pulled a Kev. I didn't listen.
Wow.
I do not like the Beatles.
What about them?
I told you guys I'd rather drink ranch dressing.
What about them besides the hair?
Their voice, the music. I mean, I know they're very influential with everything that's, come from music. So I'll give them a 5 for that. But I can't do the Beatles. Just can't.
There's a lot of notable songs on this album.
A lot.
It's a very, very influential album. The album cover itself is one of the most recognizable pictures of all time.
What's the album cover?
It's them walking across the street. You've seen it.
I've never seen that.
Are you kidding me? You've never seen this image before?
No.
Nuh-uh.
I'm telling you, I can't do the Beatles.
You just
Dude, this album cover's everywhere.
I can't do the Beatles.
It's everywhere. You could take them out of the picture, and I would still know that was Abbey Road.
Right.
Right? All right. So, Come Together, one of my favorite all-time songs.
Aerosmith redid it, and it was great.
Aerosmith redid it. It was good. Let's see. I mean, Here Comes the Sun. That's a great song if you want to just waste the day away. By waste the day away, I mean just like if you're just chilling.
Her Majesty, The End.
If you're just chilling, this is a great album. Obviously, like I said, it's very influential. I wasn't in the right frame of mind really to fully enjoy this album, so I was kind of harsh with it. Not to mention it's your pick, Kev. So if you picked anything basically,
such a dickhead.
Listen, man, if you picked anything less than the Beatles, I probably would have given it a 2, no matter what, just because I was.
Because you're a hater.
I was very upset of your opinion with the Arctic Monkeys. I'm not gonna lie, I was very upset about it. So I was gonna give no matter what it was a 2, but you picked the fucking Beatles, which happens to be the most influential band of all time. So I can't do that because I would just be doing everybody a disservice. I give this album an 8. If you're into this sort of thing.
Really?
If you're not into this sort of thing, you're not going to like it. You'll basically be able to tell.
That's you.
Oh, that's me.
Bro, way to get us a hit on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
iTunes.
If you couldn't hear it, we were playing the Beatles off my phone by accident.
That kind of came in perfectly. It was almost like you planned on
that. It was like a nice thing. If you're not into this music,
which
you're not going to like it. Yeah, it's very slow. It's very slow, very dreamy, very just kind of chilling. You can tell that these guys were tripping on acid basically the whole time they made this album, which is fine if you're into that kind of thing. I just can't imagine you liking this guy.
I like it.
Tell me about it.
I absolutely like it.
I give it an 8. What do you say?
I've grown up listening to it, and that might partly be why.
Your parents were like really into the Beatles?
My dad also into Yes and Genesis and all that great 60s music, 70s music.
Yeah.
But I would have to go with the album to be 7.5, 8. 7.5 I'm gonna go with.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like kind of I thought you were gonna give this like a 9 or a 10, to be honest.
No.
No?
No.
All right, well, I feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't know. I obviously, like, in terms of music as a whole, this would have to get like a 9 or a 10 just because of its composition and the way that it was made and, again, how influential it is. But personal tastes, I give it an 8. You give it a 7.
7.5.
Personal taste for me, I give it a 0, but because of what they've done for the music community, I give it a 5.
Do you have a This Week in History, Kev?
Yes, I do. I'm slacking.
Damn it.
You hit me with it so quick.
You know, you need to learn to be ready.
January 31st, 1958. The first U.S. Earth satellite Explorer 1 was launched. January 31st, 1990. The first McDonald's was opened in Russia. Can
Wow.
you imagine in 1990 having your first taste of McDonald's?
After we've all had it for so long. I wonder if it's like us with like Sonic and stuff. How like we get commercials and we don't have them. I wonder if like they just play McDonald's commercials all the time in Russia. They're like, God damn it! Like
I want to try that so bad.
I really wish we had McDonald's around here. And then they get it and it's like garbage. They're like, oh shit, it sucks.
February 1st, 1960. 4 black college students begun a series of sit-ins at a white-only lunch counter.
Who did this? What did you say?
Listen to me.
I'm listening.
Listen to me.
I wasn't, and now I am.
No, I was going to ask you to read it again, too.
February 1st, 1960. 4 black college students begun a sit-in at a white-only lunch counter.
Yeah, but did it say where?
Greensburg, I forget the state. Greensburg. It's the fucking start of the civil rights movement.
Right, okay.
Come on, guys.
Oh, Kev, stop. Like, I act like you know about
You don't know.
You
We
don't
just
know.
asked you and you didn't know.
You
So
didn't
get
know.
the fuck off
Come
my
on.
back, you son of a bitch, and read your next goddamn fact.
It's my last one.
Wow.
It's my last one.
This has been a train wreck, by the way.
February 1st, 2004. Janet Jackson's titty pops out on national television.
And how
at
stupid
the
is that?
Super Bowl.
How stupid is that Justin Timberlake's doing it again this
I
year? And he's the one who pulled her titty out.
Yep.
And she's like, nobody's even heard from her since that. It's unbelievable. Well, great job, Kev.
Good job,
That was-
Kev.
Good job.
Fucking hate you guys.
Just
I
like,
said it was good.
just try your best to be ready for it next time.
Get off my back.
Yeah, I asked you a question, but then you come at me because I don't know the answer, but you didn't know the answer.
Yeah, Kev, you're supposed to be a fountain of knowledge when it comes to this day in history.
That's why you're the history guy.
You know what? I'm not making you an intro for it until you get better at it, okay? How's that? Okay?
Okay.
That's good. Great job this week, guys. Next week, we're going to come in here and we're going to talk about the Super Bowl more because it's going to be game time.
Big
And
game.
I'm going to be freaking out by then, for sure.
Already freaking out.
Yeah, it's intense. Say peace out, Kev.
See ya.
Peace out, Danny.
Peace out, guys.
Follow us on Twitter at MightBeNews247. That's MightBeNews247. Check us out on iTunes and SoundCloud. I'm Taylor Cooper. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.